In Nigeria, every first day in October is the National Day celebration. On October 1st, 1960, precisely, Nigeria gained independence from the British colony after a long time of colonial rule. Ever since, Nigeria has grown in leaps and bounds from the north to the south and east to the west. Every year, Nigerians come together to celebrate the Independence Day. Year 2022 is not an exception, as Ogun State also joined the rest of the country to celebrate the 62nd Independence Anniversary at the MKO Abiola Stadium, Kuto, in Abeokuta. The special parade had in attendance the military, elder statesmen, the civil society, market women, artisans, school children, as well as voluntary organizations who came together in large numbers to celebrate the day. The governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, who mounted the dais, was accompanied by the service chiefs for the march past by the various groups. While delivering the independence message, the governor urged Nigerians to draw strength from the labors of our founding fathers in order to build a continued and solid national development.
Dear compatriots, as we celebrate our Independence Day today, we must take lessons from our struggle. This will surely help us to appraise our commitment to the Nigerian project. The whole history of our independence, including the figures and the events that have shaped it, are all we need to deepen our democracy and make Nigeria greater. As a matter of fact, we need to draw strength from the various labors of our founding fathers. We must continue to seek to build on that solid foundation and viable approach which they have provided for our national development.
He encouraged Nigerians to come together and find solution to the challenges currently rocking the country.
God has blessed our nation. We should come together to harness the natural gifts bestowed on us for the development of this nation and the increased prosperity of our people. Yes, different units or sections of the federation can develop at their respective paces. The different development of the various units should be lessons for others. In the words of our national anthem, the old national anthem, though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. If we come together, we'll overcome all the challenges facing our nation.
The governor therefore urged the people of the state to continue to promote peaceful coexistence in the spirit of the independence anniversary.
May our dear people of Ogun State, in the spirit of today's celebration, let me join us that as we celebrate this anniversary, we should continue to promote peaceful coexistence, socio-economic development, and respect for the rule of law. As an administration, we are determined to build a society with equal opportunities for all to fulfill their potential. Administration is committed to the continued discharge of good governance for an optimal development across all sectors of our economy. Ours is a promise-keeping administration. We are committed to an even development of all parts of Ogun State. As I've said before, we will not develop any part of this state at the expense of another.
At a special Thanksgiving service held at St. Peter's Cathedral, Ake, Abeokuta, to commemorate the 62nd Independence Anniversary, the governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, represented by his deputy, Engineer Noimot Salakoye Dele, explained that the occasion affords the country an opportunity to reflect on the efforts and roles of the founding fathers of the country.
The occasion of Independence Anniversary celebrations affords us an opportunity to acknowledge the efforts and the roles that the founding fathers of this country played in getting us independent. It gives us an opportunity to reflect on their hopes and aspirations for the country and to acknowledge those that we have achieved and to try and understand why we have not achieved others and how we can continue to build our nation going forward. Celebration of our nationhood is a celebration of the oneness of Nigeria, of the security of its people, and the achievements of the individuals therein. In Ogun State, to the glory of God, we live in a harmonious society where different ethnic groups and religions live together in peace, conduct their businesses, and bring up their families. In fact, in Ogun State, we have multi-generational families of people from right across the country who have come here to live, make this place their home, and also run their businesses here. We have intermarriage between citizens and those from other parts of the country. And this is what Nigeria should be.
Engineer Salakoye Dele pledged the continued commitment of the Prince Dapo Abiodun-led administration to even development of every part of the state without any prejudice.
In the last 3.5 years, the government of Ogun State, under the leadership of His Excellency Prince Dapo Abiodun, has continued to develop the state, to make it a haven by creating an enabling environment for the creation of enduring economic development and for the individual prosperity of the people who live in Ogun State. This is one of the things that attracts people to Ogun State and makes them stay here when they come here. His Excellency has pledged the people of Ogun State that he will be equitable, fair, and just in all his endeavors. His Excellency always says that he will not promise to do everything, but he will do whatever he promises and fulfill all his promises. And I can assure the people of Ogun State that with your support and your prayers, he will continue to do so and has continued to do so.
In a sermon titled, "What is Troubling You?" Right Reverend Dr. Johnson Akin Atere, the diocesan bishop of Awori Diocese, taking his text from Jeremiah 32 verse 27, encouraged Nigerian leaders to take heed to the leadership of God, as he is the only one who can redeem the situation of the country.
The solution can only come from God. And so let Nigerian leaders accept this reality, that except God build the house, except God keep the city, all our wisdom become waste. But God has 1,001 ways to achieve his purpose. Even when to man it seems impossible, and all doors seems to be closed, nothing, absolutely nothing can hinder our God. Whether you believe or not is immaterial. It said in Jeremiah chapter 3, 32, verse 27, he said, "I am the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me?" The answer is nothing.
Reverend Akin Atere maintained that only action, faith, and genuine heart can spur God to deliver the nation.
For God to now fight our battle or deliver you, especially our country, he needs our cooperation. He needs our faith. He needs our action. Let us, like King of Samaria, turn to God in sincerity and genuineness of heart. Enough of hypocrisy, enough of deceit, enough of unbelief, enough of oppression, enough of selfishness, enough of idolatry, corruption, wickedness, enough of disunity, abuse of office and privileges, greediness, wastefulness, and bad. Enough is enough. Disobedience to the law of the country, disobedience to the law of God, enough is enough if we want Nigeria to fight our battle.
The members of the Executive Council, traditional rulers, service chiefs, and other dignitaries at the event then advanced forward with a heart of gratitude to God for another independence celebration. Also, a special Jumat service was held at the Central Mosque, Kobiti in Abeokuta, to commemorate the independence celebration. The Deputy Governor, Engineer Noimot Salakoi Dele, who represented the Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, explained that Ogun State has provided a haven for people from all parts of the country due to the peaceful coexistence between the residents.
The nationhood of Nigeria, the oneness of Nigeria, premises on the security of the country and premises on the harmony between the different ethnic groups and the different religions in the country. Here in Ogun State, we pride ourselves having provided a haven for people from right around the country to make Ogun State their homes. And we have in Ogun State examples of multi-generational families who have come here and invested here, educated their families, intermarried with Ogun State indigenes, and called Ogun State home.
She said that the state government has in the past 3 years made development its priority by creating an enabling environment for business to thrive.
In the last 3.5 years, the government of Ogun State, under the leadership of His Excellency Prince Dapo Abiodun, has continued to make development of Ogun State its priority, so that Ogun State will be a place that will attract people to it. And once they get here, we'll be able to make Ogun State a haven for them and their families. This government is creating an enabling environment for public-private partnership, which is fundamental to the creation of economic development and particularly individual prosperity for everyone who calls Ogun State their home. His Excellency has pledged and continues to fulfill his pledge to people of Ogun State that no part of this state, no groups of people will be disadvantaged at the expense of each other, but that his government will be equitable, it will be fair, and it will be just in its distribution of its resources right across the state.
In his sermon at the Jumat service, Alhaji Taufik Amolegbe, taking his text from Quran chapter 18, verse 107 to 108, explained that Nigeria is blessed with human and natural resources, calling on our leaders to make proper use of it for the development of the nation.
Chapter 18, verse 107 and verse 108. People went on Salah ayah to believe Bismillah min ash-shaytan ar-rajim Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim Innal ladhina amanu wa 'amilu salihat kanat lahum jannatul firdaus nuzulan khalidina fiha la yabghuna 'anha iwalan sadaqallahu al-'azim. Ayah Quran tí mo kà yìí tó jẹ́ fásitì méjèèjì yìí nǹkan mẹ́rin ló sọ fún wa iná lẹ́sìn iná amánú. Àwọn tí wọ́n bá nígbàgbọ́ sí Ọlọ́run, ìnígbàgbọ́ sí Ọlọ́run, wà á mímú sọ́ra heart, ó máa ń jẹ́ kí èèyàn ṣe dáadáa. Nítorí ó ti mọ̀ wípé gbogbo tó ń bá ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ lọ jíyàn fún Ọlọ́run ọba. Ẹni bá ti wá ní méjèèjì yìí tó gba Ọlọ́run wá gbọ́ tó sì ń ṣe dáadáa, káyọ̀ ti ká oúnjẹ náà tó lóṣooṣù rẹ̀. Ibi tí ó padà sọ̀kalẹ̀ sí ilé ìdẹ̀ra kan tó ń pè ní àjọ́nà ọ̀fẹ́rẹ̀ dáwọ̀. Ó wá ní khalidina fiha, ibi tó fẹ́ máa gbé láíláí níbẹ̀ láyé kúkú náà ní àfihàn tí ò ní wà kankan tó fẹ́ fi pààrọ̀ ẹ̀. À ń sọ fún wa lẹ́yìn pé à ń ṣe ayẹyẹ 62nd National Day. Nǹkan mẹ́rin ní tiwa náà, innal ladhina amanu, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ bá nígbàgbọ́ sí Nàìjíríà tẹ́lẹ̀ fẹ́ ṣètò Nàìjíríà, wa 'amilu salihat, ẹ jẹ́ ṣe dáadáa sára wa, ẹ jẹ́ ṣe dáadáa sí àwọn ọmọ wa, ẹ jẹ́ ṣe dáadáa fún ọmọ ẹbí wa, ẹ jẹ́ ṣe dáadáa lẹ̀ fún wọn tí wọ́n ń bọ̀ nígbà káwọn òbí sí wọn. Torí nígbàgbọ́ sí Nàìjíríà pé yóò dáa.
Giant strides caught up with some Nigerians at the event, and they bore their minds on the 62nd independence anniversary and the state of the nation.
I think we need to look at the positive. 62 is a milestone. There is no nation or community that does not have its own challenges. So first is for us to be grateful to God that we are alive and Nigeria is still one. And hopefully God will continue to put us right and guide us. God will now look at us at 62 to say that, look, about time for a change in this country because we do have serious challenges. We need to understand that government is trying their best and we should be prayerful. We are going to election next year, that God will give us good leadership that will set this nation on a course that countries like Singapore, China has taken.
Nigeria at 62. We're happy that Nigeria is able to clock 62 and Nigeria has gone higher and Nigeria has been able to make it anyway. So we are happy that Nigeria has gone higher and is to continue to go higher. We all have to work together to make it better. Nigeria is okay, but we need to make it better. And we all have to come together, contribute to our quota and ensure that Nigeria becomes better.
I'm a very optimistic person and as a result I urge everybody to be optimistic. This time around, yes, I know there are hardships, but at the end of the day, we must be very optimistic that this new government that's going to come are going to make a lot of changes because they just can't help it. They just have to make a lot of changes. They must make the difference because everybody knows that Nigeria has every potential to be a very, very developing country and we should not be counted as one of the underdeveloped countries as at 62. By and large, by what you can see from the political scene and the terrain that we have now, everybody is expected to do what is his level best to ensure that everybody is happy in this country. We have every potential to be able to be a great country.
I think we are moving, we are developing, and we'll continue to develop. But there are issues, if we don't want to deceive ourselves, that needs to be addressed, and addressed seriously, and as soon as possible. The issue of ethnicity and religion should be put to the side. If we don't put it to the side, we are going nowhere. I attended primary school, secondary school. I don't know who is an Igbo man, who is an Hausa man, who is a Yoruba man. We do things together. Every December, the school organizes Christian something. The person that leads the Christian is one Fatai. Nobody said that time that is a Muslim. But what is the situation today? People tell you, oh, this is a Muslim, this is a Christian. If we don't address it, we are still not going to move. That is the truth. We may not want to accept it, but that is the main problem.
I'm always proud to be a Nigerian. I cannot go to Kenya and walk freely. I cannot go to Cameroon and walk freely. But in Nigeria here, I can go to east, I can go to the north, I can go to the south, anywhere, and exercise my rights as a Nigerian. And that is what I'm proud of. Nigeria at 62, we are not yet there. But we hope the significant changes that happened between 61 and 62. Let me talk about the third Niger bridge. It wasn't in existence at 61. We talk about the improvement in the power system that we are just witnessing of recent. It wasn't there at 61. Talk of the new rail. It wasn't there at 61, but at 62 we can celebrate it. That means there is hope for the future.
Our leaders has a lot to do. We have a good motor. There's a good engine on it. We have a good, talented conductor, but we are lack of driver. Those who are driving us, we need to appeal to them. They should not drive us to where we cannot make our life easier. So, presently Nigeria is troubled. May God help us.
We started just like that 62 years ago without anybody knowing where we are heading to. But here today, we are still united as a nation. Here today, despite all odds, the country is there, the state is there, Nigeria is moving on, Ogun State is moving on. So we have every reason to thank God. We should pray for our government. We should be honest in whatever we do. We should put in our best. Stop cursing the nation. Pray for the nation so that the nation can move on.
We give thanks to God. So far, so good. So many of us, we were not born when we got the independence, including myself. But here we are today. If you take into stock the rate of development, we have cause to give thanks to God. My advice to Nigeria is that we need to be patient with our government, the government of the day. We need to cooperate with the government. We need to fight all forms of criminality together. The banditry, the kidnappings, all sorts of crimes. We need to stand together and fight it so that we can develop and move together.
For me, I still believe that Nigeria can be greater. And I believe that at 62, we are not really doing badly, but we can see there is still room for development, more development. I happen to be one of those who marched at Dodam Barracks in 1970 when Nigeria was celebrating the 10th year then. I also grew up in Lagos, and I know that when we talk about development, it starts from Lagos to other states. For me, for us still being together as a nation is a plus for us. The unity of Nigeria cannot be wished away. And because we are still together, a lot of development can still come.
A nation called Nigeria, we were once under British colony. Once we gained the independence, that is how natural we should be, that we are free as God has given us. By whatever rules, we know that to be free is the most cherished thing by any human being. So for us to have a national day, it means we should celebrate, we should dedicate, we should think and rediscover ourselves to know where we are going. Simply put, why celebrating National Day? That means it is only those who know where they are going that should get there. If you know where we are going as a nation, we will be there. And that is why we are celebrating year in, year out. To know that really we must recognize what we have been given by God Himself. As a nation, we are yet to get there. Because when you want to open any phone, you should have the password. If you don't have the password, you'll be laboring in vain. So probably there are one or two things that we are yet to get right, to get to where we are supposed to be. But on the whole, we should thank God that at least we are still putting our heads together as a nation. So many countries are broken away. We are still managing to be just one nation. But to say that we are where we are supposed to be is far from being the ideal thing.
The 62nd Independence Anniversary leaves a message of hope and resilience on the part of every Nigerian to get towards making the nation great again so that the labors of our heroes past will not be in vain. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn, àjọṣe wa ni.